Okay. Good evening to you all. Today is the 37 of this IT Employability Skills Bootcamp for women. Like we said, this bootcamp will last for 40 days, and today is our day 37. Like always, we start by showing our outlines. That is what we are to cover for the day. So we'll have a recap on what you discussed yesterday, that is the 36, and today we are going to discuss about introduction to data visualization. That's what we are going to discuss about today. And after that, we'll have question and answer, conclusion, and then we call it uh, a day. So yesterday, I believed Ahmad introduced you to pivot table, and he told me that you finalized everything there. So you see what you can do with pivot table. You see how to summarize some analysis, how to do some analysis and to summarize some things, especially categorical data using pivot table, which most of what is showing you, you can also do it via using some certain functions and the rest. The reason why you introduced you to the pivot table yesterday is because yeah, you need to learn how to use it, but uh, most importantly, what is required from you is to know the functions you need to do with that. That what matters a lot. I don't know if you discussed filter and sorting. I don't know, but they're also part of something that you need to know and you need to understand in this. Like you all know, this is an IT employability bootcamp. It's not a data analytics bootcamp. So, but of course, we want to introduce you to all this so that you can have an overview to this. At least you can be able to uh, work with the knowledge you have. At least, and but you have a lot on the road and you have a lot on your plate that you can go ahead and learn further. But yeah, I believe you introduced you to pivot table, and of course, you know how to use it and how to do some things with pivot table. So today we'll look at to have an introduction to data visualization. That's what we are going to look at. In short, data visualization has to do with graphical representation of data. So when you have the data or a piece of information, you want to create a graphical representation of it in order for it to looks meaningful to other people who doesn't have knowledge in that field. So you need to create that visualization for them to see. That graphical representation of your data is the visualization of your data. And data visualization is another, I can say, subsector of data analytics because it is on its own. It's also a specialization on its own under data analytics. So I'm not trying to, maybe I'm not going to expand it for you since, like I said, we are not deeply into data analytics, just for you to have an overview of this visualization and what it's all about. So the raw data that you have, the numbers, the information and everything, when you create a graphical representation of it, it looks more meaningful and the translation of it will looks more easier to a lot of people. By me looking at a graph, people will look at it and say that, yeah, this graph is saying this. For example, I'm trying to create a maybe a graphical representation of, let's say, number of males and females in a particular data. By me looking at the graph created, or even if it is a pie chart, the bar chart, column chart, or any type of graph, by me looking at it, you can see that the one that is higher or bigger than the other, it will show it to you. You will clearly see that maybe males are much more maybe than the females or something like that. That's the graphical representation. And sometimes uh, if data is visualized in that way, uh, even if it is not a specialty of somebody or someone is not into data analytics, but mere looking at the data, you can explain what the data is seeing and you can understand what the data is trying uh, to see, especially when you go deep in that. As you see, even in regression, when you look at it, it will show the maybe the correlation between two variables or two or more uh, variables. That is the dependent and independent variables to show that you will see all that the all these are things that when you visualize data you will see that correlation, you'll see that trending and the rest. So that what data visualization is all about. And let me say this to you, since today is the introduction to that. Data visualization has nothing to do with the fancy of your dashboard. A lot of people focus on the fancy, how fancy the dashboard looks like. No, it has to do with the meaningful of what you are visualizing. So if all the dashboard you used are kind of not what is supposed to be used, you know, it's just kind of going to look somehow. So you need to understand that it has nothing to do with the how your dashboard looks or something like that. You need to know that you need to know that uh how to use what graph you need to use and what data you need to use that graph for. So that's what I'm going to tell you now. We have different type of graphs that we have. You all know graphs, charts, all such things. So we have a lot of them, and that's what we are going to talk about. Maybe it's just for me to tell you this and this and that. I don't know if you discussed about data types. Have we discussed data types with you? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Ahmed is. Have we discussed data types with you? Have we discussed data types? Can you hear me, please? Have we discussed data types? Data types. Are we together? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, we haven't. Seriously? Okay, you. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. Before we discussed about this, you're supposed to learn about data types. So even though I didn't prepare that for you, it's supposed to be a class on its own, but since it's just let me just tell you about this. Like I told you, we are not into data analytics deeply like that, but you're supposed to at least have an overview of the different data types that we have. So let me just tell you this in short so that we continue with this because this class is what you have and you only have like 3 days to go, something like that. So I don't want to take us back somewhere. So you can just write this. I don't have I'm not sure any slides. So I'm going to tell you different data types that we have. So you see, all the data that you see, there are different data that we have. Let me just give you this in short. You know that this piece of information that we call data it differs. We have sound, we have image, we have video, we have text. You know, all these are what we have. So these are the different as in the normal general types of information that we have. You all know this. But when we come to this issue of the data that we have, the statistical data types that we have, and other programming data types that we have, there is a generic name given to the different data types that we are using. So there are data that we call broadly, these data are categorized into two. You can hear people call them qualitative or quantitative. That is qualitative data or quantitative data. That's normally what you will hear from a lot of people, especially when you're talking about uh, other professions and the rest. But some people call them, instead of them to call qualitative data, they call it categorical data, not qualitative data. They call it categorical data. So qualitative data can be called categorical data. What is qualitative data? Any data that comes in form of text. Any data that comes in form of text. For example, a textual data, for example, your names, your state, your gender, all these are categorical data or qualitative data. So we also have quantitative data, and these are data that come in numerical values. These are the data that comes in number. So I don't want to call them numerical because they comes in numeric. They are all numeric data. That's what we call quantitative data. They are numeric data. But the reason why I say I don't want to call them numerical, sometimes a data can be numerical. Numerical is up to, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you hear me, please? Can you all hear me? I'm sorry, my network has some issues. Okay, like I was saying, a data, there is difference between a data which is numerical and a data which is numeric. There is difference between the two. So it's just like a generic name that when a data is numeric, it means it's pure numbers. The data is pure numbers. For example, one, two, three, four, and it is not representing anything. That number is a number. You can plus it, you can minus it, you can subtract it, you can multiply it. That's numeric data type. And we have numerical data type. Numerical data type is a categorical data that comes in form of number. Please understand all this. Is a categorical data that comes in form of number. For example, account number, BVN number, all these are NIN number, all these are identification number. All the identification numbers, even if they are numbers, they are numerical data, not numeric, because you cannot plus them, you cannot minus them, you cannot do this to them because they represent some things. Even admission number, all your admission number at university, they are representing a lot of things. They are representing a lot of things. Year of your admission, your department, your faculty, your this. So admission number is not a numeric data, it's a numerical data. So please understand this, and they are all under quantitative data. So these are the data that we have, the categorical or qualitative, the numerical or quantitative or numeric. This is what we have. And there is other different data types that all we have, the ordinal, scale, nominal, and all the rest. Please, I just want you to have overview of this to understand this categorical and numerical. So whenever you hear categorical data, you understand the data is textual data. For example, we have your names. For example, we have names of fruits. For example, we have names of houses, classes, courses. All these are categorical data types. But when we are talking about this quantitative, we are talking about maybe price, maybe we are talking about the number of awards given to somebody, maybe amount of money spent by somebody, and the rest. So these are the quantitative and numeric data types. So please understand this. So let me talk about these different types of graphs that we have. So number one, what we have, the types of graph that we have bar chart. So whenever you are presenting a categorical data that has count in it, you use bar chart or column chart to visualize that data. For example, I want to count the number of departments that we have within a particular company or within a particular school. For example, Faculty of Science, they have 20 students. Faculty of Agriculture, they have 10 students. Faculty of Political Science, they have 50 students. So if I want to visualize this data, I use bar chart or column chart to visualize that data because the data is categorical. Why it is categorical? Because these numbers that are represented in the data, the 20, the 10, the 30, all these that are represented by what? A particular category, which is what? Which is department. So that's when we use the bar chart or column chart. The next thing is histogram. We use histogram when we have a data which is numeric data, quantitative data that comes in range. So we use that. We use histogram. For example, when we have age, we have the heading of age. For example, under age, we have some people with 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, 20 years, 40 years. So if I want to visualize that type of data, I use histogram because histogram put numerical data in ranges. So what histogram is going to do for you is going to put the age of the people in ranges. For example, those that are between 1 to 10 will be in one place. Those that are between 11 to 20 or 30 will be in one place. 31 to 50 will be in one place. Automatically, histogram will put that in ranges for you. That's how it's going to visualize the data for you. So even if it is, for example, a salary data that comes in, in number salary of people, you want to put the salary, you visualize the salary of people, but you want to put it in ranges. So it's going to put the salaries in ranges for you. That's what histogram did for you. And normally you visualize data, numerical data with it when the data is much. For example, a very much data, maybe you have thousands of rows of data. So you use histogram to put the data in ranges for you so that it will make the visualization to looks more okay for people to understand than for you to use. You can even use categorical for that. You can't because it's a single column that you are using to visualize what to visualize histogram. And understand this. When I'm talking about the bar chart, I talk about department and number of people from the department. You should understand this because we are talking about two visualization. That is two variables. That's what we are talking about. But when I'm talking about histogram, I talk about only age. That is, I'm talking about only single variable that you visualize with it. That is maybe column or age data, column of age. You just visualize the column of age and it puts everything for you in ranges. So that's what this histogram did for you. So the next thing we are going to talk about is pie chart. So pie chart, you all know how pie chart looks like. Pie chart show you the representation or the proportion contributed by each category. For example, we have let's say, let's look at, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Still my network. Can you hear me, please? Hello, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, for the pie chart, for example, you have 100 students from a particular school, and you want to know how many number of students contributed by each department, the percentage contributed by each department that made up of that 500, that 100 of people. So the proportion contributed per each category of data is what we use pie chart to showcase. So that what it will show to us, maybe it will show that this chart, this department contributed 20%, this department contributed 15%, this department, just the way you look at PISA, when they just cut up PISA, each proportion will take one, one, one. That word made up the whole of the pizza. So that what pie chart is all about is to show the how 100 is made up of, or how categorical data contributed to the whole data that you have. So that's what pie chart is all about. So the next thing is the line chart. So line chart is to show the trend of a data over a period of time. Trend of data over a period of time. That what this line chart shows to you. For example, you want to see number of hours spent by people studying in a classroom, or number of student registered for a particular course within a particular period of time, or over a particular period of time. So that what the line chart is all about. Line chart shows the trend of data over a period of time. Maybe you have a shop, or you have a, let's say a shop. So you want to see how much you are making over a period, maybe every day. You want to look at the data for the 10 days period of 10 days. So you want to showcase how much you made over each day. How much are you making, or you made every day? So you look at the trend of the line chart. Line chart will show you the trend. Maybe today you made 10,000, yesterday you made 7, next day you made 4, next day you made maybe 8K. You see the trend. Line chart will show you the trend, how the price are within such 10 days that you want to see the trend of them. So that what um line chart shows you. So when you have a data that has to do with dates, so you use line chart to show that data. So that what it's all about. And also, like I said, this line chart for you to showcase that data, also it requires two variables. That is the date variable, and also the number of whatever within that particular date. Maybe it's the sales you made, or maybe it's the revenue you generated over a particular period of time. So you want to showcase the trend on how you make such revenue. Maybe within January you made this, February you made this, March you made this, and the rest. So this is it. I think yeah, this is where we are going to stop today. And tomorrow we will start the practical of this that we have you know we have discussed today. So if you have questions related to this data visualization, the graphs and everything, please go ahead and ask your questions. And if you don't, then I think we can call it a day. So practical will be tomorrow, not today. So we'll have the practical tomorrow. Then we'll continue. Okay, if you have a question, please ask your questions. My network is not that very good today, but yeah, I think tomorrow is okay. We can have the visualization. Because don't forget, you are going to start practical of this visual using the data you collected from the field. I believe all of you have the data with you. So when we are done with this, you're going to uh, work with that. So go ahead and ask your questions, please, before we call it a day. Ask your questions. And I think tomorrow, our tomorrow's class is going to be the last class. You did PowerPoint, right? You treated PowerPoint. I think because after this data visualization, we'll give you the next 2 days for you to do your capstone projects. So tomorrow we will do the data visualization. I will take you through the dashboard, how to create the dashboard. I'll also guide you on how to write a report about the analysis you have done. So I will talk about that also tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be a very big class, maybe. So after tomorrow, I think we'll call it a day. So we'll give you 2 days. That remaining 2 days will be for you to finish your project. Oh, yeah, I think you need at least 1 week for the capstone project. I don't want to rush you, but it's okay. Let's see tomorrow. If we did not finish it, we'll leave it till next tomorrow, because I just want you to learn how to write a report, because that report writing is something that we normally didn't treat it. Yes, qualitative data can be called categorical. That's what I said. You can call it categorical data or qualitative data. Okay, I'm listening to your questions. If you have, I don't know if yes, okay, I think yesterday's video is not available. So I'll try my best to drop these videos to you, the yesterday and today's video, so that you listen to this again. You'll understand more about this so that tomorrow when we start just creating the visuals, maybe you will capture it more. You'll understand it more. Okay, there is no any question, right? So I think in the absence of any question, I think this is where we are going to call it a day. I wish you all the best and see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful dream. Bye bye.